Doctor Who is one of the greatest shows to ever be created. Part of what makes it great is the fact that it can last forever because the lead role can constantly change and it goes along with the story. And like a lot of fans, I have only really watched the revival series. I have not seen I've seen part of the classic series, but really not all of it. So I'm going to be ranking all of the revival series Doctors. So this will be including the Ninth Doctor, the 10th Doctor, the 11th Doctor, the 12th Doctor, and the War Doctor. Those 5. So just please understand this is my opinion, and although you may disagree with me, it is mine. And I also want to point out that I actually like all these Doctors, so who I'm putting at the bottom, it will just be for reasons. Coming at number 5 is the War Doctor, played by John Hurt. So I really can't put this Doctor higher than any other Doctor because he actually hasn't had an official season or anything. He only appeared in The Name of the Doctor and briefly and The Day of the Doctor. And honestly, I actually think they should do like maybe a spin-off of The Last Great Time War because I actually kind of want to fully know, and maybe we can get John Hurt to have his own series. I think that would actually be pretty cool, but I really doubt we'll see much more of him. I mean, I actually really did like him. I liked his concept and how he was kind of Captain Grumpy. It was kind of amusing seeing how David Tennant and Matt Smith were complete different people than what he would ever imagine. My one problem with this is he doesn't seem so much like a warrior. Like, I mean, some of you may disagree with me, but he does. I mean, he seems to kind of be more like a retired. I just don't see him as a warrior. Like, I think they could have picked a better actor than him for the warrior part, but overall, I think John Hurt did pretty well, other than the whole warrior thing. But we really don't see much of the War Doctor, and he doesn't even really feel like the Doctor. But I know that is the point. But yeah, that's just my one complaint about him. Coming in number 4 is the Ninth Doctor, played by Christopher Eccleston. I actually really did like this Doctor a lot. I found him to be pretty cool, pretty funny at times, and definitely a good portrayal to bring the show back. And I also really do like how you can kind of see on his face how the guilt he feels for destroying his people. And he was really fantastic, no pun intended, in the episode Dalek. I really enjoyed that, and that's not his only one. He really did a good job with a lot of things. The reason I put him number 4 and not higher is because he wasn't around long enough. Like, I'm still a little confused by why he only did 1 season, but if he had lasted longer, he could have gone higher. And my other problem is really his suit, because like the Doctors usually wears a wacky suit. Because like look at Tom Baker with his scarves, but like this guy, he's just kind of with the leather jacket. I really don't like that. So I mean, not really much to say about that, but like, I mean that's part of it. But again, they were just bringing the show back, so I won't really criticize it too much. And I mean, pretty much the only reason I can really say that I put him this low is because he really just wasn't around long enough. Coming in number 3 is the 12th Doctor, played by Peter Capaldi. So I didn't know about this Doctor at first because I actually was watching him like I watched like half of season 8 last year, but I never finished it because it got taken off Netflix soon after. But eventually I got around to rewatching it. The first time I watched it, I really wasn't enjoying him, but the second time I actually started to really enjoy him. He's actually definitely a good Doctor, and he kind of a bit different. What I really like about this Doctor is that because of his age, he's not the your like average young guy like David Tennant or Matt Smith, and so there's not really that much of this romance going on. Because I mean, doing it with Rose was fine with the Doctor, but Martha, I really don't see the point in it. That, and I also like there was some little bit like that version of Clara at in the 1800s, But so I'm glad it's probably really not going to happen. And the one time he's really kissed someone was Missy, which was all just fun and games. But I definitely do enjoy this Doctor. I think he is definitely unique from the other before him. I'm talking about the Just a Revival series. And like I do kind of like how he's a little bit off about the human race and doesn't understand. It's pretty amusing. But I mean, this Doctor really does bring and how he did what he did in Heaven Sent. I was really impressed with Heaven Sent. He definitely did really good in that episode. And I mean, I don't really see any of the other Doctors being able to pull it off like he did. I mean, maybe David Tennant, but and let's not forget when he came on riding on a tank with an electric guitar, and I think it was medieval times. That's one of my favorite scenes with the 12th Doctor. We'll see. I'm really glad he's staying for a while, and I would like to see what more he does. Coming at number 2 is the 11th Doctor, played by Matt Smith. This really came down between him and David Tennant. I could not figure out who to pick as the number 1 Doctor. I mean, they're both really good. Like, I was kind of criticizing that whole romance thing that was going on with them a little earlier, but that doesn't make me completely dislike them like some others do. But Matt Smith is a really good Doctor. He was very funny, and the bow tie thing I really enjoyed. Like, I mean, I say like bow ties are cool like at least once a week. But Matt Smith, I mean, I really didn't know about him at first because he seemed a little bit too similar to Tennant at first. So I was a little bit skeptical, but he definitely quickly won me over. And Matt Smith definitely was a really fun Doctor. And what I also really like about him was you see a lot of emotion with David Tennant and how upset he'll get with like when someone dies or when someone has to die. And what I really like is how jolly this Doctor really is, but how that the emotion kind of changes from, instead of how David Tennant was always feeling sad about it, how Matt Smith would show that in rage, because this Doctor definitely did have a bit of a temper. But I really enjoyed this Doctor. He had a very cool run, and it makes me always really sad when I see him regenerate, because he definitely had a very, very good run as a Doctor, and I really hope that we can see him again. I really hope Stephen Moffat does this thing that Russell T Davies did with bringing back all the old companions, like having them all come together with what he did in Journey's End. Because I'd like to see maybe Amy, Rory, River, the 11th Doctor, 12th Clara, and the new companions Nardole and Bill do this special thing together, showing with Stephen Moffat's exits. But I mean, that's probably not going to happen, but hopefully. But this Doctor really, I mean, it really took. I was going back and forth between who's my favorite Doctor, and I'll explain why David Tennant is my favorite Doctor. So coming at number 1 is the 10th Doctor, played by David Tennant. So, some people will say that your first Doctor is always your favorite Doctor. Well, I actually started with David Tennant pretty late, and the first episode I ever watched was Midnight, which got me into the series. But that doesn't really, but I guess that doesn't really count because I only saw Tennant for a few episodes, so I guess you can kind of consider Matt Smith as my first Doctor. I mean, but I definitely really enjoy the 10th Doctor, because he has basically everything you need for a good Doctor. He's funny at times, he can get really emotional, and he's also very brilliant, and you really see him as a good Doctor. Like, I get some people are annoyed with his stuff, but I really do enjoy this Doctor. I mean, what makes David Tennant better than Matt Smith, in my opinion, is honestly just his storylines, because Matt Smith has had more bad episodes. I'm not saying Matt Smith hasn't had good episodes. He's had fantastic episodes. But David Tennant's really had some really good episodes that make me sad at the end, like The Girl in the Fireplace, Doomsday, Journey's End. And he really just does a good job with the Master, because what I really liked about him and the 10th Doctor and the Master is that the Master is doing all this stuff, but the 10th Doctor still cares for him, both of them being the last Time Lords in existence. Okay, I'm not saying that whole thing with that weird ending of the last of the Time Lords was good, but I just really like how 10th Doctor, and also you kind of see more of the 10th Doctor with a legend, because you kind of see him as the fire and stuff that people are always saying. And although you can kind of tell with the 11th Doctor and the 12th Doctor, you don't really hear about it as much about the Doctor being a legend, and everywhere he goes, destruction follows with him. And that's what I really like, because whenever I think about the Doctor, I always think of the 10th Doctor, and he really does a good job as the Doctor. And I was really happy when I found out that he returned for the Day of the Doctor, and I would really like to see more appearances from him with other Doctors, because that will be fun. So that concludes my ranking of the Doctors. So I'm hoping that this video gets more popular than my other ones, because Doctor Who has more fans and stuff like Survivor and Big Brother. But if you're watching this video, I ask you to please subscribe, because I'm going to be doing some more Doctor Who videos, because I'm planning on doing a ranking of each of the new series seasons. And if you want any more content, more ideas, please comment below. Drop a like on this video, even though I'm probably not going to get much views. Hopefully I do. And thank you for watching.